Hello, this is Adam Flixton with a very quick recording review of the brand new free-ish synth called Vital from Matt Tytel. Vital is a spectral warping wavetable synth, which there's a lot of other good wavetable synths out there. I'm going to mostly compare it to Serum because that's one of the ones that I know the best. And I'm going to just talk about my experiences in using it over the past couple weeks. It was just released the end of November, so this is about 2 or 3 weeks ago. And I've had a lot of time to dig in. I still don't know it, front and back, but I've gotten pretty comfortable with it over the past couple weeks. It's free-ish because you can get the basic one free. There is some more upgrade stuff that you can get, which give you more presets and more wavetables. The Pro one gives you this cool text to wavetable where you can type out a phrase and then it generates a wavetable for you. So that's a pretty cool thing. You also can subscribe, which I think gives you all of the Pro type features, but you have to pay $5 a month for that. But I've only been using the free one, and just on its own, the free one is very impressive. So let's start actually with the beginning of my experience with Matt Tytel. He made this synth called Helm, and it was another free synth, and it's a very powerful synth. It's similar in a lot of ways to Vital. It's not as customizable, and then it's also not, as far as I can tell, a wavetable synth. So that's one of the reasons why it's a little different. One of the things I really don't like about it is the look of it. It just looks like a total mess. You kind of can't, the sections aren't really marked out very clearly. There's some color differences. Things are just moving. It's just kind of like you took all the parts of a synthesizer, you just kind of crammed them into a square and called it a day. So even though it's a really powerful synth, I never really found myself using it all that often. And it just kind of sat on the hard drive, sort of waiting, hoping somebody would use it. So one of my favorite synths is Serum. I use it all the time. It is also a wavetable synthesizer. Maybe it's spectral. I'm not exactly sure if that means you can see the spectrum. I don't know exactly what that means. But anyway, it's also a wavetable synthesizer. One of the best things about Serum compared to some other synths, there's like maybe something like Alchemy or Omnisphere or something like that, is that 90% of everything you need is all right here on this front page. There are a couple tabs where you can make some other tweaks and changes and stuff like that. But pretty much you can just load up a synth and you can see right away what's happening, what's the envelope doing, what are the oscillators doing, what's the filter doing. It's all right in front of you. And you can kind of tell that Matt Tytel took a lot of cues from Serum because even though the parts are swapped a little bit, it's pretty much set up exactly the same way. You can see all of the stuff right away when you look at it. There's a few tabs. They're actually maybe pretty much the identical same tabs as Serum: Effects, Matrix, Advanced, and so on. You can see the LFOs, you can see the routing, and so on. I hesitate to say this because I've only been using this for a couple weeks, but Vital, to me, so far, has everything that Serum has, everything I look for in Serum, and a few more things. So I don't know if I want to use the word better. I might use the word better. But I'm certainly gonna say newer. It's got a few newer ideas. Serum is probably about 5 or 6 years old, maybe a little even older than that. Because it can do everything Serum can do so far that I can tell, and a few more new little tweak things that maybe don't make it or break it, but do add a little bit to it. I've been enjoying using it a little more, and I've made some cool sounds. I've found some new types of synthesis that I've never really experimented much with, so I'm into it. I like it a lot. So this is not going to be a how-to talk. Maybe if people want me to talk more in depth about how to make specific patches and stuff like that, I can do that in a different video. One of my favorite things about Vital is that you can test modulation before even committing it. So like right here, I can just take this LFO and I can just, I haven't let go of the mouse button, so I can kind of test what different things sound like without even committing to it. That's a really, really cool feature. I like it a lot. I'm a big fan of this right here. It's called Purlin Random. It's kind of like, you can see the LFO, it never changes speed, but it changes amount. So it's almost like if you take one LFO and you route it to the amount of another LFO. And I've been using, it's a very musical way. It's a lot more musical for me than traditional sample and hold, which is more jumpy. It's a similar type thing, but it's more jumpy. So that's a nice little thing that I like a lot. You could theoretically do that on Serum, but you'd have to route one LFO to another, maybe even three, depending the way the Purlin works. Very clear unison. So the basic wavetables are pretty usable, but I can see with certain types of music, I could see wanting some new wavetables. I could definitely see the presets are very, very limited. Like when I click bass, there's only about, what, 15? This is on the free version. So I definitely could see wanting some new presets on this. One of the things, so Serum has different wave folding and different ways of kind of skewing and bending a wavetable, which this, of course, has stuff like that. It's got stuff like that, which is cool. It's got frequency modulation and stuff like that. But it basically has two different ways of skewing the wavetable. I'm not going to go through them all right now, but you got all sorts of stuff like that, which is cool. I'm a big fan of wave syncing, which is an old analog way of sort of musically route. It's related to frequency modulation, but you're routing one oscillator to another oscillator, but it always keeps its pitch. It doesn't change its. So I'm a big fan of this sync mod. I've been using that a fair bit on mine. If I had one piece of criticism, it's that in the mod matrix, there's only one line and you can't do secondary routing in the same line. You can do it on a separate line, but it's a little more inconvenient. Like if in Serum, let's say I wanted to make envelope 3 control the LFO1 amount. Okay, so let's throw the LFO on the filter cutoff. So now it's at full amount, but if we wanted to make envelope 3 control the amount, now we can see the LFO gets more intense as it goes up. Now, there might be a quicker way to do this in Vital than what I've been able to figure out, but the way you do that in Vital is you make LFO, which shows up on the matrix. Then you have to kind of manually program it in on the second line. So I'm going to do exactly the same thing. I'll do envelope 3 is the source, but then here I need to do mod matrix, and it's going to be modulation 1 amount, which this one you bring down to 0, and then this one you bring up. Oh, it was muted for some reason. Okay. So there you go. So you have to do it in 2 lines, and you have to do a little, this mod matrix modulation amount is a little inconvenient, and it's not my favorite way of kind of handling this problem. So that's really my only criticism. As far as pretty much everything else I've been able to do, it's great. And there's even some things like I've written the developers on Serum to ask to automate or modulate the portamento amount. And as far as I can tell, you can't do that. Here you can do it very easily. So that's a feature that I've been wanting in Serum that I haven't had. It's got really good super saw unison voices. Oh, you can get more advanced in how you program the unison and the super saw type stuff, which is really cool. Let me just. Oh, I'm in Serum still. There you go. So you can. Now I'm not entirely. You can get pretty advanced with this type of stuff, which I'm a big fan of. I do a lot of this. So anyway, really, really great. There's some cool patches that I've already been making. I do a lot of these kind of piano type stuff, but then there's some really cool pre-made sounds. I'm not going to go through all of them, but just so you get a feel for some of the wavetable type stuff. So, Vital. I give it 2 thumbs up. I'm loving it. I'm gonna keep using it. I don't want to say it's replaced Serum, but so far I've been using it on anytime I normally would pick up Serum. I've been using Vital, and I haven't really missed Serum. So definitely check it out, especially for free. You can't beat that. I hope this was informative. If you want more videos like this, I haven't really done any reviews or anything like that. Just let me know. I'd be happy to do more.